Are you a veteran that could use one-on-one home care? If so, there are several options available to you that you might not even be aware of. And depending on your situation, home care can be completely paid for by the VA, and that's in addition to other things like equipment and walkers, hospital beds, wheelchairs, as well as supplies like adult diapers, gloves, masks, things like that. Hi, I'm Greg Eldridge with Home Helpers of Alpharetta, and today we're going to discuss benefits for veterans. There are two areas where a veteran can receive home care benefits from the VA that's fully paid for. And the two areas are community care benefits and aid and attendance benefits. So let's take them one at a time. The first benefit we're going to talk about is the community care benefit. So the qualifications for the community care benefit are obviously you're a veteran, and also that whatever you're physically going through that is leading you to receive home care is something that came from your service in the military. The benefit is something that ultimately gets generated from the VA. So if you're going to the VA hospital, great. You can talk to a primary care physician there. They'll connect you with a social worker who will go through the process of authorizing a benefit. You also don't necessarily have to go just to a VA hospital. In our area, in the Atlanta area, there are various urgent care centers are connected with the VA, so you can go in there, talk to a physician, they'll connect you with a VA social worker, and we'll take it from there. So you might want to check in your area if there are any urgent care centers more convenient to you than going to the VA, or obviously you can just go to a VA medical. The authorizations are up to a year and can range from, at a low, maybe 8 hours. We don't get many of those, typically like 12 or 16 hours a week, all the way up to round-the-clock care. And these authorizations can be increased. So if initially they authorize 16 hours of care, the care begins, and you're just feeling like, boy, there's gaps in my schedule where I feel like I really need care, you and your family can address that with the VA to get an increase in the authorization, and then that clock begins again. When they increase it, the year starts at the date of that increase going forward. That increase, though, is not something we as the home care agency can request. We can be part of that process, but that request has to come directly from the veteran and or family member. The fabulous news is that the benefits from the community care benefit are paid for directly by the VA, so there's no cost to the veteran. If the hours that you want the agency to be there exceed the authorization, then obviously you would pay for whatever excess you wanted the agency to be there. But up to the full amount of the authorization, there is no cost to the veteran. The second benefit available to veterans where home care can be paid for is what's called the aid and attendance benefit. And this benefit has changed a bit over the years. We've been in business 12 years. When we first started, the aid and attendance benefit was available to veterans without what they call a look-back period. Because the aid and attendance benefit it's not exactly like, but is similar in the look-back to Medicaid, where if you have assets in excess of certain amounts or income in excess of certain amounts, you don't qualify for the benefit. And, back when we first started as a home care agency without the look-back period, families could manipulate their assets and income streams so that it didn't disqualify them from the aid and attendance. But now with the look-back period, I think it's a 3-year look-back, that kind of manipulation can't happen to yield service right away. Obviously, if you do it before the look-back and wait through the look-back, then it will qualify. So that's a challenge with the aid and attendance benefit. The qualification process can be fairly long, and it's kind of on the family to do. So you'll want to check with the VA about what that looks like. The good thing about the aid and attendance benefit is that in addition to the veteran, there are benefits available to the spouse. So that's something worth looking at. The benefits tend to get up into maybe 10 hours a week, something like that, depending on the area. It's not a huge amount of care, but it's free, so it's certainly an awesome benefit. The other qualification is that, unlike the community care benefit, the veteran has to have served during what the VA classifies as wartime. It's fairly loosely classified because World War II for them ends in like late 46 when it actually ended in late 45. And, all of the wars have kind of a wider range than the actual hostilities were going on. But if you're outside of those date ranges, you do not qualify for the aid and attendance, and that is different than the community care benefit. If you have any questions about veteran benefits or kind of how to navigate all that, feel free to reach out anytime. Go to our website, homehelpershomecare.com/Alpharetta, and there's a form online you can fill out, say you're interested in getting some info about vet benefits in your area, and we'll get right back to you.